Hey guys, excuse me, I know it's late, but I wanted to do a video real quick because, I've told you guys before I like to research stuff. So this is my thing. So there is this guy that I come across a while back, and I'm really intrigued by him because he teaches about like the truth of like say the Bible or whatever, or he follows like he's a theologian. I don't know if you guys know what that means. He studies religion in a sense, and I'm very impressed. And I've probably told you guys about watching him on YouTube before. He does like a Sunday service, but he is like not really a denomination of religion. But what I like about this guy is his name is Theodore Nottingham. He actually teaches and lives in Indianapolis. So, what attracted me to this man was when I listened, because I'm not someone who goes to church. Um, what attracted me to him was the way he presented things. And it's things I've been saying. So, when I hear him speak about the things I've learned from my guides or my loved ones, my ancestors, you know, and I'm hearing him talk, he's saying things that I have freaking said. And so I feel a connection there. And I know sometime when I'm in India, I'm going to have to stop there just to talk to the guy. But the crazy thing is, I decided tonight, I thought, I really want to do a video for you guys. But then I got lost in some of his videos on YouTube. Um, he talks about spirituality. He doesn't say like he's a Christian or Catholic or Pentecostal, whatever. He doesn't go into that. He talks about how religion in the Western world has been manipulated and changed. And we lost sight of the original teachings that are from 1,000 years ago. And what he's talking about makes so much more sense than any church I've ever been to and listened to the preacher preach. So I'm not saying he's a preacher because I don't feel like he's that. He is like a professor in a sense. And he talks about there being a God or a divine power. I mean, I don't know, however you guys believe. But what's crazy is he's talking about in one video, he's talking about rediscovering mystical Christianity. Now, when he's talking about Christianity, he doesn't mean like the New World Christianity. He's talking about way back. He tells you how Christians got their name Christians, things like that. And I love the fact that he does not put a denomination kind of like factor into his teachings. But he talks about spiritual awakening. He talks about how religion has been manipulated and twisted into the new world, which America, Western cultures, whatever, and how some religions were not even invented until 1911 in America. So what they did was some of these religions that are now here in the United States, not all, but a few, are very new religions. And what they do is they take pieces of whatever they think is worthy and make and conform those teachings into their own belief system. That's why you see Pentecostals. That's why you see Jehovah's Witnesses. That's why you see the Mormons. They're all new religions, technically. Just two of them have been discovered, I think, in like 1900 up to present time. So they've not been around for thousands of years. So if you want some of he's got so many videos on there, but they're teaching lessons. He's teaching lessons of how Christ is within, like I've been saying. He's talking about how everything's been manipulated and twisted for mankind for whatever reasons. It talks about how some churches claim they're the oldest churches, which they can't be because of all the historical books dating way back. I'm not talking about the Bible. I'm talking about philosophers, theologians, I guess, back then, you know. So you take all these books and you put them together, and it almost is like a timeline. And it can show you all these books that he reads and other professors from universities have read. And they can take these books from all over the world, and they can almost give you an actual timeline of what and teachings, which is crazy because I took religious study in college, believe it or not. I know it's crazy, but I did. But I did because I wanted to, back then, I wanted to know, where did all these religions come from? How did they develop? I also took world history, and not in the way that you think. The world history class I took, I know you guys have heard of Abraham and Moses and all these guys, right? So I took world history, and in my world history class, my professor was freaking amazing. He took us way back to the tribes that were here, and you often kind of hear about in the Jewish Bible and things like that. So we learned where these tribes all started and how they had their own families and how they became their own sect, kind of like. So not only did I learn religious studies about all different religions and how they became to be in the European world over to the American side, I also learned world history from where it all began. So I want you guys, you don't have to if you don't like listening to YouTube videos, but some of his videos are only like 13 minutes, 15 minutes. But one I want you to listen to is called Rediscovering Mystical Christianity. Now, don't take Christianity as a term of a certain religion or sect or whatever. Don't take it as that. He's just using it as a term, meaning somebody who believes in God or higher power or whatever. And it talks in there about the state of Christianity in the Western world. That's what it talks about. It also talks about the vital need to redirect its mystical roots, because we've lost way of the mystical side of religion or believing in something. We've lost sight of that stuff and about spirituality and God is within us all kind of thing. So that's where he comes into place, because he is very smart. He's a brilliant man, and he explains it to where you can understand it. And he makes you, if you're into spirituality like me, he makes you feel like you're not the outcast that so many religions make you feel like. Because so many religions make you feel like what you do as a medium or as a psychic, they make you feel like you're doing the devil's work. It's wrong. You shouldn't be doing that. You're going to hell. I can't tell you guys and stress how much and how many times I've heard this. I don't want nothing to do with you because you do this. And he makes me feel comfortable because he does not judge. And he explains where some of this stuff comes from, gifts and things. So when I listen to him, I feel connected because I feel like he is not outcasting me for how I believe or the gift I have. He makes me feel accepted. And that's important because I can probably walk into any one of these churches here in this town and I will not be accepted because of what I claim I can do. And that's not how I feel my God would work. And so it bugs me, and I'm not dissing any religion because that's their own thing, you know, but it bugs me in a sense because I feel like I'm an outcast and I'm doomed to hell because they say so. Not because God says so, because they say so. So if you are very interested in this, and he does a Sunday like service, it's not really a church. It's so different than that. But his name's Theodore Nottingham. He is a very smart, brilliant man. And he also has guests sometimes come on that also have studied. Some have even gone to seminary school and realized, whoa, this isn't the way we should be teaching other people. Because Americans in the Western world has put their own twist on it for whatever reason. And that's why you see so many separated religions instead of unity. And so he's trying to provide unity for every person so they feel accepted. and not kicked out because of they did this or they did that. Okay. Another video that you would like to watch is called Early Christian Mysticism, the Practice of the Jesus Prayer. And he talks in this video a little bit about how for 1,000 years, we have been left out of what the real teachings were because things have been twisted and manipulated by man so many times. And I know I'm just kind of going off on a tangent about religion. I'm not trying to, because I'm not like, I am religious in a sense, I guess. Spiritual is what I call it, because I can't say I'm religious, because I feel like when I say I'm religious, I'm putting myself in a denomination, and I don't want to be connected to any of those, because I feel like many of them are wrong. They have a lot of good things, but there's a lot of negative things within those clusters that bug me. So if you're interested, go to YouTube, look up Theodore Nottingham. He's got like 212 different videos altogether and sermons and different things he does. And he probably has books too. I've never really looked into his books because, like I said, I don't like to read. But the first video was Rediscovering Mystical Christianity. And it's talking about spiritual transformation. Just like I've been saying about how, I don't know, he hit the nail on the head with me, because about how I say kindness and unity and non-judgment. And I'm not trying to be judgmental towards religion. I'm not trying to do that. I just know in my heart, and from what I have been told from my spirit guides and my ancestors and my loved ones and all them up there, is that it has been manipulated so many times. And then we get into this box of thinking only this way, and you can't get out of it. You're like conformed to believing only this. And there's so much more out there to believe, and different ways to look at what maybe the Bible says or what these philosophers say. And that's what people need to do. They need to find their path. And if you don't look, you'll never find that path. If you don't do your research, if you don't pay attention to what people say that might be out of your element, like the way this man speaks, I just like his voice, but the way this man speaks, he's very educated. So it throws me off because I'm kind of ghetto. I mean, I don't pronounce my words to a T. I don't da-da-da. But listening to him talk, he describes things so accurately, from very similar to what they have told me, which floors me. It freaking floors me. Believe me, it floors me so much so that I'm like, okay, I'm on the right path. I know what I'm doing, because here we have this man that, however the hell I found him, I don't even know. I found him months or a year ago. I don't know. It's crazy. But however I found him, and I hadn't watched any videos for a while, and I thought, I'm going to go on there and check and see if he's got anything new up, which I found out he does stuff every Sunday down in Indianapolis even. So I'm definitely going to stop down there sometime when I'm in Indy on the weekend, because I want to see this man in person. I want to ask him questions if he allows that, because I know from what I've learned from my loved ones, there's so much more out there. And I feel like we are all here to be teachers in a sense. And he talks about light. He talks about spirit. He talks about kindness and love and unity and non-judgment and getting outside that box and how to awaken your spiritual side. So to me, it's very interesting, because like I said, these are things that I've been saying from them guys up in heaven or in the spirit realm, whatever you want to call it. And then I'm hearing him say this. So I know that I'm not stupid. And I know that, oh my God, like I was literally sitting here like, I don't know, it's crazy. I was sitting here and I'm listening to a video and I'm just watching it like this out here. And he's saying things. I'm like, yes, I knew that. I mean, I felt like I was watching a football game. It was crazy. I was like, yes, hey, because all the stuff that I have learned from this gift, and here's this man practically repeating similar things that what I have been saying. So it hits home, makes me feel good. Oh, sorry. It hits home. It makes me feel good. And it's important. So, I mean, there's other things on there. Like I told you before, there was, talks about the missing books of the Bible. He talks about that. And it's very interesting too. Like Mary Magdalene is very interesting. It talks about her seeing spirit or whatever. So that one's a cool one. But just go check him out because you'll be amazed. I think he has like 16.6 thousand followers on YouTube, okay? And it's not like he's one of these telecasted freaking religious things on TV. Matter of fact, he does not agree with that at all because he feels like it's probably like I do, it's a moneymaker. It's not even about sharing the word of God or whoever you believe in. It's about making money. Who needs a big stage like that? Who needs fancy cars like that to actually teach about spirituality and about truth? Nobody. You can be the poorest man on the earth and still be able to give insight to people who need it. So, I mean, it's just cool because he is like a new, not new age. I don't want to say new age. He's like opening up the box so people don't feel stuck. And he's going back thousands of years and reading philosophers and telling us what they say from way back in their time period. And he's bringing it all into a collective so everybody can understand what the true meaning of oneness or Zen or enlightenment or spirituality. But he believes in God. You know, he believes there's a higher power or whatever. So just check him out. Theodore Nottingham, YouTube. Rediscovering Mystical Christianity. It's probably about 15 minutes. Earlier Christian mysticism, the practice of the Jesus prayer. That one's probably a little longer. Some are only like 13 minutes. There is a couple that are like an hour and a half. Take your time watching them. And let me know what you think. Because of every church I've been to, he describes it the best. And so I'm like, woo, I'm there. He sold me. I'm bought. But it's just cool to hear somebody from a different point of view who's very similar to the things you've been told. So it hits home. All right, just want to give you my little video to watch and share it with you. And you don't have to, but it's very interesting. It's very interesting. But pay attention to his words. And you can also look at the transcript and follow along with him in the YouTube video. And that helps too. So you can kind of read it while he's saying it, you know, so it sticks more. And you'll really get good insight from that, I think, and good knowledge. All right, believe, and always believe in yourself. And don't forget to breathe. And there's something I want to share about that again when it comes to breath. But I'll do that on a later video. All right, night, y'all.